Hello and welcome back to another episode of Google.rs. It's Byron speaking. In the previous session, we have basically finally finished this set JSON value function here, which method which took far too long to get to the point where it is now. I had to circumvent some borrow check issues, which were super easily circumvented, but I didn't get it when I tried yesterday. And yeah, that was bad. But I think today is a better day. And so far, it started very well, considering that this thing could already work if we would have the right field names here. Because right now, the temp cursor is the one that we call this function on, set JSON value, which would be cool if the field names would be the ones that are actually used in our structures, which is not the case. Because at the end of the day, we have to then take this value, this JSON object that we set, we have to convert this into the respective structure. And we assume this to work. Right now, this wouldn't actually work. Right now, this unwrap would fail very ungracefully because of fields that do not exist. Or because of fields that we set that do not exist in the target structure, which will trigger some sort of unknown field error. I didn't try it, but I expect it to be. So let's think about how we do a remapping. This remapping must be done on a per field basis. And ideally, it follows the hierarchy of things. What we could do, which is something that I would like, is a brute force approach that is based on the knowledge we have in our generator. Because how easy would it be if we would just create a new cursor here that we will return as part of our type info? You know, maybe then this thing is a tuple, which has a cursor in the type info structure. And then we can use that cursor instance with the remap values to do what we want to do our bidding. This would also mean that we have to pass in the actual cursor as a borrow, at least, in order to be able to provide the right user level name in case there's an error. Because then, you know, we would say, if you wouldn't do this, we would say, well, couldn't set structure foo underscore bar or field foo underscore bar, even though the user typed in foo dash bar. As you can see, there are no underscores here in the names, just to have prettier names than we would usually have. Yeah. So this is, I think, what we could more easily do. Let's have a look at the engine macro to see where that is happening. Somewhere here, there is this match. I think this is the match. P-name. This is just basically, look at that, how beautiful that is. So here we generate the field names by mangling each field. So that's where we do this, and then joining them. So basically, if we have another one, let's say that says kind of S name, and do the same thing, but without the mangling, then we should have a name that kind of makes sense for us. Like this. So that's already it. So now the S name should be what we want. And technically, there shouldn't be anything else needed then to say, well, we now return a tuple, and the first item should be a string. I think we can use a string to generate a cursor. Set. Yeah, so we start empty and then we just set the thing. And then it will traverse it and do the right thing. Yeah. I think this is what we are going to do. There is no constructor, really, that takes an empty or that generates a cursor from a string. But we can compensate for that easily. I think also there is no default. How do we generate our default cursor? Field cursor. There is a default. All right. So yeah, I think I wanna have the string here, and then just convert it before we use it. Yeah. To string. We might have a from string or a Yeah, something that consumes a string. std convert from. This is something we could implement for this guy just to have a nice interface for that. I will consider that. First, let's bring in the data just to have it. So here we go. Substitute the s name in. Now we have type info and field cursor string. Oops, like this. Field cursor. Jesus, oops. Oh, damn it, I'm editing the wrong. I was wondering, why is this so slow? Because I'm working on a 10K slot count file here that I don't want. No. Instead, I would like to edit this here. That's where it happens. So that's a field cursor string, and that's that. So now let's have a look at this thing when we generate it. Oh, actually, I don't want to necessarily build this just yet. Let's just generate. Okay. And that's the actual names, as you can see with. Oh, yeah, that's the actual field names, but we want to have struct names. And this is different again, but that's not a problem. We just convert. There's a function for that. Ident, maybe? Mangle ident? Yeah. I think mangle ident it could be. Let's try that. Let's see if we have it. We do. Cool. So that, I think, will generate a valid identifier, which is used in our structures. Yes, like that. So that is what happens. In the more complex case, make YouTube. This will look like this. Videos, insert. Oops. Come on. Here we go. Yeah. So that's the actual struct names. That's the case. Content details, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's it. And if not, we'll fix it. But I think that's pretty much what I thought we should have here. And then before we use it, we want to convert that. We want to set it on a new cursor. So again, I think I should have some sort of from implementation. Impl from str. I'm not sure if I have to do it like this or not. Let's have a look. Let's look it up. I like to look that stuff up as often as needed until I can remember something. So that is type T from T. Look at that. String from. Okay, so how is it implemented for a string? Okay, so you have to specify this. Yeah, and I can even be lazy and say, yeah, it's a static string that you get, which is true in our case. So this is how you want to define it. So we say static string. And then and what's the signature from, by the way? All right. Just unconditionally creates this, and it must not fail. That's exactly what I want. Because technically, we don't fail. If in the worst case, we have an empty field cursor, but even that shouldn't happen because we have valid names there. So for field cursor, and that's it. Fn from, and then we pass in a static string and shall return a field cursor. And it's as simple as let res be a field cursor default, and then we set it, res set in the string. Oh, from value. Here you go. It returns CLI errors that we gladly ignore here. I don't want to panic on that. I could unwrap it just because I assume there is no such error. So that's usually how I do it. I just unwrap the stuff. If I want to officially discard possible errors, I use OK. But if I want to be sure I erase an error, I unwrap, and then we return res, and that's it. So now we can say field cursor from and pass in the string, which is something we should be able to do here. Here it is. So yeah, it's kind of a temporary anyway. We don't need it. So it's field cursor from, passing in the string that we called field cursor string. And then we can set the JSON value. And I think I want to pass in the temp cursor as borrow as well. Just so that we can use the right one here. Array cursor shall be a field cursor borrow. There we go. And now I can use that one, array cursor, in order to generate a string that tells the user what went wrong. Okay, so that could be working. Let's actually build it. Yeah, and then we test it and make it work. We're just 11 minutes in, so enough time to kind of close this issue. La la la. Oh, true. Now it's an optional. And yeah, I have to unpack it here. Field cursor, string type info. Good. Makes it easier. Ah, damn it. I'm editing the wrong file. But I can try it here now that I have done it and fix that one as well. Not as well. I shouldn't have done it on the other file anyway, but here we are. So field cursor string type info. We unpack it, we consume it in the process, and the rest should be fine. Cannot borrow a mutable local variable res as mutable. That is true. Let's fix that right away. We will change you. Okay. And then it's about time to test stuff. We can test a lot here. I want to test more complex structures as well, but we get basic remapping, and the basics we can test here as well. So let's try to invoke this command and set a few values as well. And unfortunately, we can't use run anymore because thanks to this cargo bug, it will recompile anytime. Anytime you call it, it will recompile these two things, and that's kind of no way to work. So we have to go down here and say for testing, groups migration, CLI, target, debug, groups migration 1, that's the program. And I think it's archive insert. Did you mean archive? I think I did. And then once the group ID, group, and the upload mode, or the upload specification, which is just simple, and then we give him some file that actually exists. And then it tells me that it can't do it, which is fine. But let's see what else it can do. It can do -r. Oh, where's -r, man? Mail insert. I'm using damn it, that's the wrong one. It's admin to email migration, CLI, target, debug, and then this admin to command. This one. Let's do -h instead. So it's mail insert. I like this that you can see the methods right away. I mean, I did it, but I now know why I like it. So then it wants to have user key, whatever, -u simple readme. I just want to make him happy. and then -r. And now it starts. Let's try a few things. Foo. Token retrieval failed with... Oh look, it set foo without a problem. That shouldn't be. That totally shouldn't be. So it sets, oh wait, it sets the cursor to this one, but it doesn't use it. This is why this works. So I can say foo bar, which also works, but if I try to set a value, then it should fail. See? Okay, good. So then we say is trash true. Okay. Okay, so now our unwrap failed even in this super simple case. Unknown field is trash. And that shouldn't be. Let's have a look. Make groups migration. Let's get the docs. These docs should be helpful. So it's mail. Oh no. Wait. Did I use? Yeah, mail insert. I did use that. Okay. So that's odd. Here I get a mail item. Yet the is delete. What did I try to set? Is trash. Why didn't I have that? What's the problem here? From value, right? But that didn't work. That's even the simple case. Let's bring up the real documentation. Make doc. This might take a while because, yeah, new compiler and everything. So are we done here? Yes, this is done. So in the meanwhile, while this is building, I can kick in the upload of the video. There we go. Bada boom. Of the previous session. It's quite amazing. My CPU is crunching a lot of numbers. All cores are busy for the recording and of course the build here, which runs highly parallel to some point. All these small dependencies, they it uses 8 cores to do that. And right now my machine is overlocated, so it wants to use 10 cores, even though obviously there are only 8, of which there are only 4 real ones. But hyperthreading is a good thing, but usually it's good until like 6 to 7 cores, and then you don't get much more out of it. Not much more, let's just say. But in case of compiling, where I/O plays a role, I think it's definitely a good thing. I don't mind. Yeah, the weird thing is also that QuickTime Player uses 360. It uses 360%. That's like nearly 4 cores just for the QuickTime Player, which is a problem. I think when Final Cut is exporting, QuickTime can't use the graphics card for its thing. And then it falls back to a CPU-only mode, which uses a lot of power. So I'm trying to get rid of that by offloading my Final Cutting to another machine that I have at my disposal. But that machine is currently being prepared and it takes a while. Anyway, so we have a huge problem here. Well, a huge problem, let's just say an totally unexpected problem. Mail insert takes a actually I have to go to the method builder. Method builders, this guy, and he has this mail item. So it's told me that is trash isn't what it wants. Which is weird. Syntax error, unknown field is trash. How can this be? It's definitely there. And as far as I can tell, there's no differentiation between optional and non-optional values. So it's just there or not there. Maybe the field is incompatible. Maybe we set an invalid type or something. Boolean. So that's supposed to be a bool. And what are we setting? I think we are setting a bool as well. That's why we did all that stuff, didn't we? So yeah, so even does the conversion fail at some point? No, the conversion never fails, which kind of indicates that, yeah, the type is correct though. It's a Boolean. But I have the feeling, you know, I would expect an error if you can't convert it. And true or foo doesn't convert to a Boolean, that's for sure. So there's something wrong. Converting to bool. Let's give it the value just for fun. And we have to put this here. And shouldn't forget to take it out after. Yeah, so now once, well, let's just make it and keep 2 lines here. Yeah. True. Oops. Now it will work. Like that. Okay, so I want to see converting to bool and then the value, even though I totally wonder why this doesn't fail. This should fail. It should push an error on here. Maybe it doesn't... it doesn't check these errors later. Right. So we should actually... Maybe we should check for errors and not try to do the conversion. Otherwise... Yeah, this is something we could do, even though this doesn't explain yet why. Yeah, so that will fail, but we don't get there. This doesn't explain why is trash is an unknown field. It's definitely positively not unknown. Maybe there's some maybe it can't be a top level thing. Maybe the top level should be not an object, because right now everything is an object. Maybe the top level should be, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what it would be otherwise. It must be an object. Damn it. I think this implements debug, does it? Does it? Oh, no, it doesn't. Sad. So I can't even debug print it just to see what I really have. Maybe we are too deep down, you know, but even that I don't think. Because we just set it directly into the belly of the thing. Oh. Here we go. So that was the original. Good. So let's try to make it to get a bit further, even though this will still fail. So if you don't have, oh wait, the field cursor we want to set in any case, and then here we say if you don't have errors, then we set this up. Where is this? Let mud request. Oh yeah, here it is actually. All right. is. So if error issues lang is 0, then we may do that. Otherwise, we just give it a default implementation, default value. Default. There we go. So that should prevent us from doing silly things in the first place when it's obviously wrong. Yes, sorry, there is a semicolon missing. I have the tendency to forget that. Here it is. Rest looks good. Type inference does all the work for us, which is good too. So now we should see the errors. If we do silly things with our arguments, we will not actually try stuff. That's good. But it still doesn't help, because I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the value or with the JSON structure we built. So that could be that we are running into some weird issue. But on the other hand, it works if we serialize it to a value and reserialize. So this generally works. I think it's just us, which is me doing it wrong. Okay, so that doesn't work. And now we get there again. So is trash it doesn't want. If you don't do anything. Oh, it wants to have a -r. Foo is bar. Okay, now we go with is trash again. So let's try something else. I mean, I don't think this is the problem, but let's say is deleted. Maybe there are, or let's try a vector. Labels is bar. Oh, look, that worked. That's interesting. So the underscore stuff doesn't work, or what? That is weird. So labels worked. Labels bus. So now we have 2 labels. Let's debug this just to see what we actually sent there. Unfortunately, it will be difficult to read, but it will be readable. Ah, true. We don't get past the authentication stage. Never mind. But we have converted this value successfully, which is good. Maybe there's something wrong with my... So it's admin email lib. And that's mail... What was it? Mail item. Struct mail item. Ah, now I get it. We have to use the original... No, okay, I understand now. We shouldn't use the struct names, we should use the original names. Well, fair enough. Then we can take this out again. And that should be the solution to the problem. That is that. Cool. Let's try that again. Make. There we go. Cool. That was easy. I think, and now I don't know if it's a solution, but I think we are very, very close. Cool. So now I should be able to provide values like is trash and still unwrap it successfully. This also means I shouldn't need to do this special handling anymore. No, I should always get something. So I will take this out again because that's additional code, and additional code is something we want to prevent at all costs because it takes time. So labels works, then is trash is true, and this still works, and is deleted is okay, is false. Okay, good. So that does something. So let's roll it back. Actually, all we need is this here, like that, and that stuff can go away. Let's build it again, and then try again. And I think then we are done for this session. Then this actually works. And we saved a lot of code. I'm kind of thinking that I should possibly, before I continue, look at the library and see, or look at other spots and see if I can save even more code. because I never did an optimization run in terms of amount of code generated. And in the library especially, I think there is plenty of potential to do that. And considering the build times that we see here, cool, that wants to work. And if I say is trash.foo equals bar, doesn't exist. That's good. Also, oh yeah, let's try the duplicate. True, and then is trash is false. Oh, interesting. That is interesting, because it should tell me that this thing, wait. We have implemented this duplicate check for the hash map thing that we don't even have here. But we didn't implement it for this one. Here we just ignore, here we do an entry insert instead of just an insert. Insert jval. Yeah, we could have a utility function that does that for us. So here we get the container structure, the map, and then we insert it. And here we have the map already. The top level one. Let's call it submap maybe. Value map, just to be sure I don't confuse the maps here and do the wrong thing. Yeah, so I think we just need a function that takes a value map and a jval, and then it stuffs it in, can bind the array cursor here. So yeah, insert with dub check. So it takes a JSON, the map itself, map b tree. Yeah, what type again? B tree map. This, and it takes the JSON value, which is just the value in this case, and the rest it binds to. So now we can theoretically put this here. Oh, rename it. That's just the map. Insert key. The key we have to provide as well. That's a string slice. To own, that's the jval, which is now val. And we bind to. Damn it. Now that we bind to it, yeah, forget that. Now that we bind to it, obviously we can't do it correctly anymore. Because here we use it as well, and I can't bind to the same variable twice. It's okay. I could circumvent that, we could use ref cells and stuff, but you know what? Actually, that wouldn't work either, because the ref cell wants to own the resource and we don't even own the error borrow ourselves, right? But we could have a ref cell that owns a borrow, but I don't know if that works. I think that's what ref cells are there for in the first place, right? Reference cells. Yeah, so that would work, but I don't want to do this. So instead, I will just take this line here and put it here. So we do, here we use the mapping. It's mapping insert. Then we use the field to owned. Then we convert it. Then we convert the JSON value. Then we want to put in there, bang. And if we get something back, then this is an error, and we just push it like this. So that should work and should check our stuff as well. Let's see. Ah, this cargo thing, it annoys the shit out of me. This must be fixed when 1.0 comes out. I mean, come on. This is so critical. Unfortunately, no one said anything, I mean, except for some developer of Piston who has the same problem. There was none of the cargo devs checking out this issue yet. And it should be reproducible easily because, you know, I put all the lines there. I could reproduce it following the instructions. So they should be able to do the same thing, at least on OS X. I don't know if it's different on Linux. But man. Okay, so let's try that. Double trash. Field value at is trash was already set. That's true. And now this works. Cool. Cool. And is deleted is buzz. That wants to be false. Cool. I think we're done here. Is there anything else? No. I mean, this unwrap would fail anyway if there would be a problem. But now this seems to be all right. Let's build make YouTube. Let's build YouTube. YouTube 3, CLI, cargo arcs is build. And there we go. So that looks a bit more complex, so that we can at some point try the nested structures. I expect them to work just fine, but you know, you should try. Okay, to recap, we had 11,500 lines, and now we are exactly 4,000 lines less. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty decent. That's really like 25, 30% code saved. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know how to save even more code, to be honest. But I think the overall compile times will be going down thanks to that. And here we just do the dispatch. Yeah, that's the primary dispatch structure. And here we handle the individual things. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to make this better. Especially this call here. I mean, this would be something that could be going elsewhere, not this, but the kind of the param calls. But unfortunately, we don't have a trait yet that we could use to generalize on this. And even if we would, we could use dynamic dispatch in theory to do that. And that way we could basically take all the param setter here, all the param setters out of there. This is something we need. There's also some stuff we need. But yeah. This code here, this could also be put into the comment section. And that's pretty much what we can do. And the rest is just what it is. Yeah. Some remapping and stuff. Yeah, but this is something that could be worked on. Obviously. Still building, of course. Let's prepare a commit here, because that already works. And that kind of concludes this thing, if it works. So let's be optimistic here. And say feature config improved structure setter code. Now it is, we save about 30% of CLI code just because we offload the work of setting structures into CERD, building a generic JSON value to contain all the data. And then let third do the deserialize for us, which is awesome. It was a great thing. Yeah. All we need for that is some information we let the generator provide us and translate into the runtime. Provide and translate it into the runtime. That's pretty much it. Closes 111. Awesome. So, is that done? It's building the CLI. It's getting there. Let's see how much memory it consumes. 850 megabytes so far. 870. I'm looking at this because I can't build certain libraries like DFA reporting on a machine with 2 GB of RAM, which is my virtual private server, and I would love to build everything there. So far I couldn't. I had to resort to a local virtual machine which takes up my resources, and I don't like that. Yeah, 1100 megabyte. Okay, and that's not even release mode. I think, release mode is the main problem here. 1.2 gig. It's incredible. .3. What's it doing? It's a lot of memory that it uses. But for what? It shouldn't even optimize anything. What's so crazy there? 1.4? I think the latest Rust uses even more memory. 1.5? And then it has to call the linker, which also uses memory. So on a 2 gig system, you would now slowly get into trouble. .55, 1.6 gigabyte. This is crazy. And it took 2 minutes 10 to get there. Okay, now it goes down again. So the peak was like 1.6 gigabyte. Now it's kind of working itself up again from 1.5 to 1.6. There it is. Oh, 1.7. This is crazy. Crazy. I hope Rust 1 will help with that. 1.8. And we are just talking about 7,500 lines of code now. Okay, it's done. 1.8 peak. Oh wait, it's not done. 1.9. 2 gigabyte. Okay, that's where the VPS goes down. 2.1. 2.2. It really uses more memory than ever, I think. .3 gig. .5. 2.6. 2.7. Yeah. 2.7 was the peak, 2.75, and now it seems to be done. Yeah. 2.7 gigabyte for YouTube. Okay, so I can totally forget to build that on my VPS. I mean, I'm so far away from building that there. I don't know, and I can't really make it use less code there. That's the problem. No can do. Anyway, so that has been compiled. That's cool. Let's not make the mistake and run make again, because that will kill our result. So YouTube 3, CLI, target, debug, YouTube. Let's see how big that is. 34, that didn't really change. Boom. Yeah, let's go with videos, insert. And then -u, simple. Let's do simple. Okay, so it doesn't even get there, because I do indeed foo require something. Requires 2 values, but only one was provided. And then readme.md. Simple is not a valid upload protocol. I'm just testing a few things, even though these shouldn't have been. Yeah, so now foo doesn't exist. I can get rid of this and bring up my help here. Online help will do just fine. I don't have to build it locally again. Just to see what I can set. Usually you want snippets to be set. And I will set, I will take it as test that this is actually doing something, and it should try to upload it. That's the point. I can't debug this because that would reveal, actually it would reveal authentication tokens that will be expired when the video is up. So I can debug this just to see what it will send. So snippet, content, category ID. Let's use the category ID. Category ID. And start. Yeah, this will bring me down to snippet as well. Will it? No, actually it will not. We will stay up here. So I think we want to go down to snippet and then use the category ID and set it to 28. And that actually works. And we use resumable so that the thing can reject my request right away, because that's... Oh, that actually worked. Oh. That totally worked. I don't like that. That shouldn't have worked. It's a README file, man, but it probably kind of fails then. Well, but it set the category ID, so I think that is totally working, And then we can go with, title is foo. Title unknown, see, so now title is foo. So that worked. I have to now clean my mess up. But basically, I'm confident that this truly worked, and we can basically skip ahead and do the next thing. So let's push this. And I must say, thanks for watching and have a great day.